about is mental health and how to deal with stress today. This was just a hypothesis that this was my first A/B test for the day. I was just checking who's actively listening, who's consciously out here. I'm not talking about mental health or how to deal with stress. I'm going to be talking about growth only, but just wanted to see, the expressions so that I can gauge how many are consciously here right now, because I know it's been a long day. So I'll try and keep it simple. I'm going to talk about product-led growth and content-led growth, and why not performance, simply put. So why I'm saying this is based on my experience from my POV as a marketing officer. SportsBaazi is 6 years old. Our group is 9 years old. So we've spent a fair amount of money with performance marketing, and it did work for us, up to a certain point. But I think that decade is gone. It's I can actually compare it to someone handing out pamphlets on a red light. Performance marketing will be viewed upon like that by the next decade. So I think if you're spending money on Meta or on Google for pure play performance output, I think you're burning money, and you would have a very greater opportunity cost. And I'll talk about it in the next slides. So this is a bit about my company. It's 6 years old. We have 10 million users. We are a completely skill game platform. So by skill games, I mean you're not playing against a computer or an algorithm or the house like in a casino, but you're playing another person. So you're playing poker with someone. You're playing Ludo with someone. There is a major social quotient as well. And in COVID, we saw that surge, people playing with each other, because since we have the data of, the distance between a player versus another player, you can see through the location permissions. So, in COVID, we saw families also playing against each other, same people playing against in their own network. So, that's what skill gaming is about. You can check out the platform on the iOS. It's available on the App Store. And if you are an Android user, you can download it from sportsbaazi.com. Like I mentioned, these are the 3 topics that I'll be discussing. First, let's say you hire Ogilvy for your ad campaign, and you have the best creative out there, and you're baiting enough guys, your CTRs are skyrocketing because of that creative and that campaign. But if your landing page isn't doing it, how's it going to help, end of the day? So your product itself, needs to be good enough so that, you squeeze in the value that is anticipated from anyone visiting your landing page for the first time. You think Google Maps need performance marketing? Or Zerodha is a live example, bootstrapped, and now where they haven't spent $1 on performance marketing ever. It's just about the product. So I will suggest everyone to, really invest your time, money, and all other resources into the product, and then rest everything else, it will pull. And if you really have to push, probably you're in the wrong business or you're doing something wrong, So what's a complete user experience? There is a benchmark of any and every interaction. Maybe when I get down from this podium, I'll probably, have some point, I wish I would have spoken about that. So I will miss out on the complete experience that I could execute today, right now, right? There will always be something. But then there is like a minimum threshold value that I will have that kind of value when I get down here. That, this is what I wanted to talk about at least. That don't spend in like a predominant share of your marketing money into performance. So there you have to set up based on your product, based on your business, what is that complete user experience? For me, it's 2 games. For an e-commerce platform, it could be two purchases from 2 different categories, not just an electronics item because it's a price war, but something which is beyond the price war. So maybe an e-commerce platform can think of their complete user experience as 2 purchases of 2 different categories. Value volume experience, right? So this is completely a gaming jargon. So whenever someone's putting in money on a platform, be it for buying insurance, be it for commodities, stocks, or gaming, the first thing that they're looking for, mujhe kya milega isse? I'm putting in 10 rupees, what will I get out of it? The value, the perceived value of that individual. Second is the volume. How many other people are playing this game? How many other people are using this product? The volume factor is that. And after these 2 points are complete, then comes experience, Once you've achieved the value quotient, once you've achieved the volume quotient, then comes the experience, wherein you instigate loyalty. WarmQ's word of mouth quotient, RAF is refer a friend. So in the digital space, RAF and WarmQ is a very important metric today, because your product-led growth will be measured by this tool, right? So if I'm incentivizing someone that, okay, you will get a free ticket of 5, 10, 20 rupees or a discount of 10 rupees, it's basically again the price war. You're incentivizing the user to do something to get something. You will only attract the lowest tier possible in your TG. So it has to be beyond the incentive, and what will be that you would want actually, that if I am playing this game on this product, that my friend should also play this, because this is a wow experience, right? I heard about this, I use Swiggy, not Zomato, but recently I heard about some game on Zomato, and then I saw someone playing it. It's very engaging. It's up to that extent that I wanted to download it. Probably I will maybe in the next tournament, because it was centered around the World Cup. So end of the day, how many references that you get without an incentive will be one of the best metrics that you can look at when you talk or measure your product-led growth. So, this is how you really leverage FRAC, friends, relatives, associates, and colleagues, when you empower your custodians to really get some value out of it, not just the incentive, value of engagement, interaction, and also spreading the product further. And maybe you can also think about the affiliate model if that fits in your business model. I can talk about affiliate business ahead, which is not the typical, clickbaiting scheme of things in terms of blogs or video posts, right? It's basically about revenue partners. So your customer becomes an agent for you, and they bring in more users. If they feel the value, they can be your B2B partner as well. If they love the product, they will be happy to do that as well. It's a free model, right? It's not like you have to buy products like with Amway and then sell. It's simply like, you just share it, and if someone's clicking, and they will get attached to that journey and become a level 2 user for you, who's come in from another user. The shareability, social proof, and learning, the learning modules will play very vital here again. And what really completes and crafts the circle for you to understand about your product is a community where you are a part of that community as a user. This is the most important thing. Just like, if how kings used to, dress in a simple way and stay with the kingdom and understand how, they are functioning as kings. This is the same way, you have to be a part of your community, and, this is what we can learn from our traditional culture as well. So A/B testing, just like when I spoke about, I'm going to talk about stress management, and I'm going to talk about, mental health issues. That was also an A/B test. So this is what I love to do every day, pick up 100 users and do something different with them. Set a cohort and see how they react. Let's say if the minimum deposit on my platform is 10 rupees. For 100 users, maybe I'll do it $1,000 and see what happens, So I'm not afraid to fail here. There could be that the conversion rate out of those 100 people is really low. It's bound to be economically. But then I do learn something out of it, and I can tweak it back to 10 rupees if I need to. Or I can have an understanding that I can at least take it to 50 if the conversion rate did not go down by the ratio of 10:1,000. So you can definitely do this with your new users. If you don't want to do it with your existing users, keep trying with the next 100 customers something new, with the next 50 signups, if not consumers. Something like that you can figure out based on your business model. Some of you must be working on volumes, some of you must be working on margins. So about content, this is my favorite part in terms of how I spend my time at office. I really love experimenting with content and creating new things. And nowadays it's getting shorter and shorter, so it gets even tougher to really come out with something that is worthy to go viral. So because the patience and the number of impressions we are going through in our digital universe, the way it's growing, it's insane. So it gets tougher, definitely, because it's amazing how AI tools like Midjourney are, helping everyone. Video editing tools, 3D animation. It's amazing how content can be manufactured from just one desk today. And I see some great results. So I'm going to talk a bit more about content here. So education-wise, when you talk about educating your user about your product, about your brand, about your story, I think YouTube and Telegram are amazing platforms which are very underrated by many organizations. It's so much centered around the Meta and the Google Ads verse overall. YouTube is something, that makes you authentic. It gives you the opportunity to be authentic. Facebook ads and Google ads generally come across to me as, pushing me away from the brand more so than pulling me towards the brand. So you have to really do your research, what works for you in terms of YouTube and Telegram. Telegram is also a beautiful space, being anonymous, and anyone who's involved in a Telegram community or is communicating with the brand through Telegram, he or she is already saying that I love you, because they are voluntarily following you, voluntarily waiting for incoming communication. So do leverage this. You can follow SportsBaazi as well, and we have various communities where users can talk to users. You can also, tweak it and be a one-way communication channel, and then there's a midway as well, one-way communication channel with comments into it, but not free communication. So it's up to you, what works for you, the kind of traffic you want to handle. If the volumes are really huge, there's no problem dissecting your communities. You can have communities of 100 people in one community and then the next 100 in another. End of the day, they are looking for a rich experience to talk about something. My father's trading into stocks, but my mother's not interested. So he needs someone, sometimes to crib about his loss or boast about his profits. So that's where he gets an opportunity to interact with someone like-minded. That the same way, for gaming, it's responding very well for us. So do your research here. I'm sure you will crack some great results here. So community will also be a byproduct of Telegram. Telegram is one of the best community platforms for working for us right now. We are working on more platforms, but like channels like Discord, but it's very urban right now. It's still too early. Probably if you're selling luxury bags, it may make sense to go for Discord, or a very high ticket item, let's say like golfers or maybe e-gamers who are talking about equipment which is above $1,000. Maybe Discord can work for you as well. So the story and the brand narrative can be built really nicely through content. When you talk about influencers, integrating your brand story, there the brand narrative can be transparently presented, whereas when you are into performance marketing and predominantly doing that, it leads to again the element of you're trying to sell too much, you're trying to sell something to me, and end of the day you will have second thoughts. Whereas when an influencer is integrating a story and is pushing the brand narrative, the consumer will have more emotional value out of that purchase more emotional value out of that consumption. So the emotion is not specific, wherein insurance policies peddle on fear, they are selling fear all the time, so it depends what works for you, right? So you have to figure out what emotional stage is right for you. So let's say for gaming, a mobile phone review channel, an automobile review channel, someone who's planning to buy a mobile phone, someone who's planning to buy an automobile will be going through these channels, right? So someone has that kind of money to buy a phone, someone has that kind of money to buy a vehicle or has potential. So that's the right mix for me to integrate my story, wherein the audience is in a serious zone. They're about to make a heavy purchase, which they'll use at least for 1 year. So then to transfer him from a serious zone of purchasing something valuable for him or herself, then moving to gaming. I can put in some money, I can earn, and that's the kind of zone that is a higher conversion scope versus someone who's, just pure play comedy, a stand-up comedian, you're watching that video, for taking it easy, taking a break, and then if I tell you deposit now, play, it's not going to work. So you have to get the story and the mood right of the user when you, integrate these content oriented channels, wherein, it's about video content mostly, now also podcasts as well, audiobooks as well. So that's where you have to really handpick your channels, and you may fail initially, but it's okay, because even the 1 out of 10 success rates that you will get can reap greater benefits versus 20x spent in performance. So the user gets enhanced value also out of this experience, that let's say I am following XYZ influencer, and there is an extension that my influencer also likes this brand, the person I'm influenced with. I mean, all of us have been influenced by people in our lives. It's not that YouTube only was the first way to get influenced. I mean, it was Bollywood to a certain extent. It's been your friends from school and college who still influence you, and you get, your purchasing decisions do get impacted by them around you, right? Also, the biggest bet out of this content-based puzzle is virality, maybe 1 in 100, maybe 1 in 1,000. But when your content piece goes viral, that's where you can't even imagine what your CPRs and your CACs will be, because it's going to reap benefits forever. There is one particular influencer video that we, launched in 2019. And that video is still giving me about 20 signups a day. Of course, it was thousands at that time, but it's still giving me value, right? So when I look at a day 30 ROI, day 60 ROI, it's gone beyond day 1000 for me. The ROI of that campaign, it was just a 15-minute video piece done really nicely by an influencer. So, you must have seen this line when you see gaming advertisements or alcohol or tobacco or mutual funds or insurance policies, lines like this game may be habit forming or financially risky, play responsibly. And I mean, I was really slow saying it the way generally they say it. So, this is 20 to 30% of the volume of the performance ad that I'm buying. I don't want to pay for this warning. And 20% or 30% of my money is going away to this warning. I don't want to do this. I mean, does alcohol really need performance marketing? I mean, Gurgaon doesn't look like that at all, You just, it's omnipresent, So it's solid branding more so than anything else. So again, I'm going to, talk about why not performance. It's bad experience. I'm, looking at, let's say, whatever subject, and there is something completely off, trying to sell me something what I'm not caring about. So it's a waste, end of the day. Just like the pamphlet guy on the red light, So it leads to a reverse impact in many ways, right? You get poor user quality. Someone who's not really interested was just browsing on his Facebook wall and now clicked, and now that he's here, might as well try, So how long is it going to last, that relationship? What is the emotional value in that relationship? Why have that relationship? why, I mean, you must have heard that wrong information, no information is better than wrong information. Just the same way, no user is probably better than a user attained from a performance channel, because, you're blinding yourself to failure. It's a slow spiral. You will slow down your failure and move on to something much later, right? And you will waste a lot more time. So eventually, I think performance marketeers will have to adapt to newer times and figure out what they do next, because it's an endangered species, in my opinion. On that note, I would, like to close by how I think about, these can be achieved. Achieving an alpha product, when you feel that, yeah, I have somewhat achieved the PMF, the product market fit, which is doable. There's so many products which might not be in design harmony, but overall, it's still functionally, value-wise great for you. So that can be built only by people. Nothing else can be done. You cannot outsource this. If you're trying to outsource a product, good luck to you. You will be trying something new very soon, in my opinion. And when you talk about alpha content, here you don't need to, be hiring a director, a cameraman, or a speaker in-house. You can do this, you can outsource this. It's great to have an in-house team, no doubt about that. But otherwise, ideation, building that narrative, integrating the brand story, this can be done innovatively, and you can outsource this surely. You just need the right people who understand your product, and they have been your user. A genuine user will always be able to give you this. So that's why being part of that community becomes very relevant. And learning the art of failing for a better punch next time, it's again about content. You have to enjoy, what you call making content about your narrative, about your brand, because you will fail. There are some content pieces that will have 3 likes, and there will be some content pieces that will have 300,000 likes. You're trying, right? So something will work, something will not work. So keep trying is all I can say. Content and product-led growth is, what you should gun for, and I'm also gunning for the same. Thank you so much.